Okay, hello everybody, welcome. It is Brian, and I'm doing something a little different this week. I am, period. I'm just doing something a little different. I don't normally stream live. I think I've tried it one other time on my Peerless Gamer channel, and I am testing out a few things. Normally I do this on an InfoSec stream, which some of you may or may not know about. It's fine. But what I was kind of interested in doing was, with the current system that we have with Lumina Aegis and Iron Sworn, I wanted to maybe pivot a little bit for the next campaign. I do want to end that one, and I have just literally published episode 20 today, and we'll publish episode 21 in the next week or so. But ultimately, I'd like to take that scenario to an end, wherever it ends up being, and start with something else, maybe a different system, just to kind of, play with a few things. So what I thought I would start with first, as with many, a session zero, if you will. So I was looking at a world building kind of thing where we could walk through any number of ways to build a world. And so there's no shortage of those questions out there. There's no questionnaires. I mean, there's even, as we learned with Iron Forge or Iron Sworn Starforged, there are truths that can be used, but I don't want it to necessarily be sci-fi related this time. I thought maybe good old-fashioned, delving and demons, wink, would be a little more, I don't say easier, but it would just be a change of pace, if you will. So I also have chat open, so if you have stumbled in here, welcome. Welcome. And so please feel free to use the chat and ask questions. There it goes. Okay, so there I am. You can watch the chat as it happens. I have done a bit of due diligence because this isn't the first time I've thought of this. I was looking at finding if there is no definitive way. I've been on many RPG forums that have talked about world building, and everybody seems to have a different opinion of how to do that. I have no less than at least 10 bookmarks of different checklists that can be used to create worlds. And if I can find my freaking mouse, there it is. I will show the play screen. All right, so we have our screen up here. By the way, what you're seeing in the upper corner here is Chill Hop Radio. So little background music. If it's too loud, please let me know. I don't think it is. I think it's just kind of going along in the background, but I don't want it to be overpowering the episode. So yeah, Chill Hop Radio. I listen to them quite a bit, so this is the nice stuff you might follow along with. But you can go to Chill Hop Radio and take a listen. And they kindly allow people to use the system, or use the music in the background. So thanks to them for that. They don't give me any money. I'm just kind of letting people know that way. That way, in case they do come back and go, "Oh, you didn't give credit." I gave credit in the description. I also gave credit on the stream itself. So there you go. All right. So I took screenshot. I didn't take screenshots, but I took a ton of bookmarks. I took Google searches on the internet and found several, including stuff that's like, if you do the NaNoWriMo in November, when you 30 days of writing or what have you, there's actually a 30 days of world building. So you can grab this PDF or EPUB or Mobi and spend 30 days writing out your world. in certain ways, starting from climate and variety, physical planets. Let me see what kind of questions you got here. So there you go. Have you know, and they go through some of that, and they talk about, you know, National Geographic, and ideally planetary climatology is kind of a somewhat scientific thing. If you have mountains, one side is going to be somewhat lush and green, and the other side is going to be somewhat desertified or grasslands, or it will receive less rain because, you know, topology being what it is, not as much rain gets onto the other side of the mountains that exist. So I mean, there's rules to everything, including, you know, as crazy deep as you want to get, you know, ocean currents. I mean, just look at our own Earth, and I think that's kind of what they're doing here. You know, have you read a book or story on the ice planet or the desert planet? Ice planet being Hoth, kind of, or the desert planet being Tatooine, if you will. These things simply do not exist. I think they can. I mean, Arrakis was a desert planet, right? I think it depends on where it sets in the solar system. If it's too hot to support vegetation, you're going to have more desertified planet, kind of like a Mars, if you will. The ice planet, I would imagine, would be something like Pluto. You know, it's not a planet. I know, it's not a planet. It's a body covered in ice, right? There's no, you know, you're not going to be on an ice planet and then all of a sudden there's a rainforest, you know, that kind of thing. It'd be kind of interesting, but no. Unless, you know, magic or something allows that to happen. So, they say the reason why books try to limit climate to one type or another is because the author wanted to hit upon a mood or a theme presented by a story. Yeah, I'm going to put these links. I'm not going to go through all of these super in depth because I'm trying to, well, keep this first, what I hope is a series to, you know, less than 500 hours or whatever. So, and it's, and, you know, the world building I found didn't just cover, you know, fantasy. There was covering other things like sci-fi, and I think this is where I started looking for some of the stuff. This is a 7-year-old read it, to be fair, but the topic is kind of evergreen. It doesn't run out of, it doesn't come out of style. So, and this was the Our World Building Reddit as well. So, once you get done with this topic, you can go back and read through Our World Building, which I did not realize I wasn't in, but I'm going to join it now. Also, if you are bored, extremely bored, you would be the second person to join our Reddit, which doesn't have anything on it right now. I am moderator, so if you are interested in joining that Reddit, you can do that as well. I am very interested in what you're reading. I'm very interested in what you're playing. Very interested in what you decided to kickstart recently. And my familiar might be coming by here in a second, so just brace yourselves for that. So, all right, yeah. So I've got, you know, suggestions. I might throw out the topic about world building based on the stream that we have here to see what how everybody feels about it. But yeah, come on in and ask a question if you're interested, and let's have a nice discussion. So let me see. Oh, here's another one somebody suggested. This one is a very long list of stuff. World building checklist. I think somebody said this was like the definitive version, and it really depends on what kind of questionnaire you want to start with. You know, the first thing this one starts with is economy and government, land, society, culture. Then the last thing is magic and science, and then medicine, transportation, and technology. I kind of expected it to be a little later, like economy and government and all that stuff would be minutia that I wasn't ready to discuss just yet. Because there's so many other things geophysically that is going on that would affect economy and government. You know, land is number 3, but it really should be like number 1, because if you're a desert climate, if you pick an economy of, you know, I don't know, work with swamp plants or something like that. But the land you're wanting to work, your setting in is a desert. Swamp and desert doesn't really fit right? So I was looking through. This is the other one here, and I'm sure there's other D&D resources on here, but this was a D&D article. And if you notice, if you even subplanes, like if you're into D&D and you like Ravenloft and those, they still all follow the same kind of Earth-like constants. There's gravity, there's weather, there's fog, there's human reactions to things for the most part. Even player characters or non-player characters that aren't humans still exhibit mostly human characteristics. So one of the things that I was looking at was, here's another one. So I listened to Robin and Ken's podcast, and Ken and Robin talk about stuff. There it is. Yes. And they've answered questions from people about this all the time. And one of the things that Ken and them say is, don't try to create a new world, use the one that you already have, which in this case would be the Earth, right? Yeah, see, here's one for scientific type games, Ad Astra games. So they said, use the one that you have. And my first thought was, well, okay, I can use, Google Earth. And you have Earth, and it's in a lovely ball, and it already has climate, and it already has heights, and it already has, well, you can, so the one thing I was like, oh yeah, I'll just, boop. No more lines on a map, no more cities. I mean, you're going to be able to see cities in areas here where you've got large metropolises or something like that. You're going to be able to see these things here. But in aggregate, you can, get rid of the majority of these, because it's like, I'll just sit down here next to a river or something, and this is a small town or something like that. You can do it based on that. So I was like, well, okay, if I do this, then, I can, be wherever I want to be in the world. So if I wanted to be on the subcontinent of India here, or perhaps if I wanted to, make it a little more exciting and have places where people can visit, I could be in Jakarta in Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea and Vietnam and those areas like that. Have islands like Micronesia, where everybody, because this is massive. I mean, hundreds of millions of people live here, but I could zoom in really tight on something like this, where it'd be like, you live on this island here, which would be, you can get down super tight, this may be where your village is, and depending on how much you zoom in or out, it could be 500 miles wide, or it could be 2 miles wide. And I mean, obviously this looks like, according down here, it says it's about 100 meters, so about a kilometer across, and about 3 kilometers this wide. No, maybe not. Let me see. I'd say it's probably 1 by 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer. The thickest part, I mean, the part that goes across this way, maybe 1.5 kilometers. This may be 2 kilometers. Thinking it's not very big, right? So, but I mean, this, you could get as, specific as you want to get. Obviously, there's some gaps in the coverage for Google Maps, so you'd want to find a place that's fairly well known. I mean, you could go, if you liked an island chain, you could go that way, or which is, you could, let's get rid of the 3D bits and put exploration. There we go. So we are in the island chain just outside of Malaysia there. Vietnam is up here, actually. Yeah, Vietnam's up here. My apologies to people watching this from the Asia Pacific region. I was zoomed in, but it's no excuse. I could have been zoomed out, and I was like, oh, Vietnam and Indonesia. Sri Lanka, of course, I knew where India was. I just didn't know how far west I went. So again, my apologies. I messed up there. So, or, you know, where pride, you know, we're gonna live up on the Tibetan plateau here near the Gobi Desert, and, you know, you may live in this area that, you know, enjoys farming, or ranching, or, you know, being in the desert. Probably you'd be iron ore mining or something, or, you know, you may be an ice farmer, you know, going up on the glacier here to, you know, grab some ice and bring it down to your people. You know, with the nearest lake being, you know, 10 miles away, so, you know, maybe aqueducts or something. So, let's see, where was the one I was looking at first when they mentioned, hey, it doesn't, you know, be Earth. Oh, the other thing is, you know, if you don't want to do an Earth thing, I was thinking about looking at this as well, you know, minus the labels. This is called Azagar's fantasy map generator. He also has like a separate bit with a city generator as well. So if you zoom in far enough, you can click on a city, and it, you know, gives you all kinds of information, very much like the CIA statistics book that people use to. Let me see. Here is the Herald generator, emblem toggle preview. Okay, so yes, I put that up in the chat. You can also, I believe there's a city generator that is tied into this. It's been a little while since I did this. Toggle preview. Show group change. Relocate Berg. Edit free text. Remove non-capital Berg. Okay. You can actually, you know, do things like random name generators, culture, Tehrani, Wildlands, Turchian, Arabic. I don't know what all those mean, but you can look up what all that means in the system. So, all right. So I can go look up the Berg, or I can't. I don't know what the hell happened there, but anyway. Where is it? One of the ones I was looking at was, how big a story you want to tell, world building. So this is the one I actually thought was kind of good. The landscape, they're talking about forest, tropical areas, grasslands and plains, night sky, the sky during the day. Are there multiple suns and moons? This one I actually thought was fairly logical because it is starting about geography and nature first. There's 175 questions of this one. And so I guess, you know, some of the answers will be answered when you decide whether or not you want to use the Earth, or, you know, and just like maybe flip it upside and rotate it, you know. If you use it, and I think in this case, the best thing to do would be to use the Earth, I think. But an Earth alternate, you know, like in the DC comics where Earth 616 is like, you know, one version of Superman, and, you know, Earth 42 is a completely different one. So I think in this case, a lot of it is going to be, you know, generated already. Yes, there are forests. Yes, there are tropical areas. Now, maybe they mean where your setting is going to be, your initial setting. So that would really kind of, you know, change the questions a little bit, I think. I would say where we were planning on putting it when I was first thinking about it was in this island chain right here. No, it's not an island chain. Where is it? Yeah, here, these bit here. What the hell's going on with this? Is that the 3D thing I turned off, maybe? Clean? Nope. That is really weird. There we go, parcel islands. 3D buildings, maybe that was what caused the issue. Nope. All right, let's scroll back out. That's the, yes. All right. Yeah, yep. Okay, orders. See, you could actually probably, I would say keep the labels in place. I don't think, as long as you don't have to worry about provinces or anything like that, whatever system of government's going on, you might keep the names just to go, okay, this is how far away, some of these are, and you're gonna get, as you zoom in, you're gonna catch, big towns with smaller towns, and it will still kind of work from a pseudo Renaissance, Middle Ages kind of section, because each one of these is gonna be a certain distance, give or take, because that's just how things work with exploration. As people move further west, some people stopped where they were and they said, hey, I've gone enough. And then towns and cities build up around those depending on where things are, if it's a ford in the river or a fork in the river. So, if you keep going down, you're going to find there's, 10 to 15 miles or 20 kilometers. 20 kilometers? 6.4 kilometers, or 10 kilometers is 6.4 miles, so I'd say about 40 kilometers then. Every 20 to 25 miles, you're going to catch, a new something. And so, yeah, I mean, from a point of view, you could just say, I want to put my own in there. And when we did Iron Forge, Starsworn, Jesus Christ, Ironsworn, you had a blank canvas basically, and you could say where, in the space version, you had a blank canvas or a blank quadrant of the space, and you could figure out and where things existed and what they were and how they were doing it. So, it's really how you want to do your maps. Yeah, once we figure out what island chain or whatever we're going to be on, we're going to assume that this is just plain old Earth that we have in here. Earth with a little bit extra, a little tweak, or 5. So, describe the night sky. I would say, obviously, the night sky is going to have stars in it because it's our universe, basically, our sun, our moon, maybe moons. Are there multiple moons or suns? That would be the first place I would say that we need to make a change, right? I have an idea for one or more. If for those of you who might remember the Dragonlance novels, you have Lunatare, Nuatare, those kinds of things. So I was thinking of maybe one or more moons, or some kind of dread rock or something like that that rotates around the planet. How are the continents laid out? Well, they're laid out in the way they are. The only other thing I was going to suggest for the Earth was, like I said, flip it upside down or something like that. So maybe we didn't, maybe I just need to figure out where I need to get the map from, and then I can get it from someplace other than Google Earth. So you got, let me see, can I flip this over? Tilt. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's not what I'm looking for, but there we go. So, we've got a 180-degree flip of, now we can come back down here maybe, and we all live, in this area, which is what should be, Australia and Papua New Guinea, and I think it's Papua New Guinea. Jesus, my geography is just all messed up tonight. Yeah, Papua New Guinea. Okay. It's funny how it flips it upside down, but you get the national park in Australia. So maybe we live in this river delta area, and we've made expeditions across or something like that. So this is a huge river delta, almost its own island chain, right? So you could, it's good. I like this. I like this. All right, so I'm gonna close this Asgard stuff. You already have those. Yes, leave. Continents laid out, countries laid out, how much land is temperate, equatorial, and polar. That would be whatever standard Earth is right now. Climate is consistent. I mean, it would be, you know, you can change it for the temporary using magic or what have you. What natural resources are available in different regions. Okay, I mean, you can get all that information on the internet. You know, this area has a lot of bauxite or this, you know, aluminum, and we may have to make some name changes during gameplay so that bauxite is now the new mithril or something like that, you know, where we have bauxite is actually aluminum, I think, but you can change it, you know, Ethereum, you know, any kind of, you know, unobtainium if you follow the avatar bit. So what is climate like? Well, where we will be set if we decide to continue using that, if we continue to use that picture of Google Earth, will be somewhere in Papua New Guinea, so it should be very tropical. So you know, that's gonna decide what our culture looks like. We're not gonna be walking around in big old suits of metal armor, that kind of thing. So now the one thing that I just realized is maybe I should be writing this down. So let me so I use VS Code. This is not necessarily something you need to use, but let me get a new file up here, text file, Markdown, actually, I'm gonna use Markdown. So come over here, put this up here. This is a homebrew thing that I found on, homebrew that I found on Reddit. So a big homebrew community on Reddit that I enjoy reading the stuff of. I mean, it's free content, right? And you, as long as you give, like, you know, credit where credit is due for those folks, they give it away for free. And so my thought was, yeah, some of the stuff may be OP, but if you're solo role playing by yourself, so you've got yourself and you have your DM making the decisions, you kind of need to be a bit larger than life. You're gonna have to be the Conan of, you know, your realm or something like that. You gotta be, you know, even a hero, or you would need to be more hero-ier, something like that. So a lot of good stuff there, and you know, depending on the types of magics that come up, there's more than enough stuff out there on anything you could possibly want to do. Okay, so are there forests? Actually, you know what, I'll just do this. Are there forests? Yes. Temperate, tropical, tundral. Tundral? Is tundral a word? Tundral? Of or pertaining to the tundra, maybe? No, tundral is not a word. Tendril is a word. Tundral is not. Tundra and taiga, which I don't know if they're one and the same. I believe they are. Are there tropical areas? Yes. Many tropical areas. Let me see. Are there grasslands and plains? Yes. Grasslands. Yeah, grasslands. What am I thinking about? Plains, savanna, that kind of stuff. No, tundra is flat, so this would be X. This would actually go down here. So because taiga are the forests, the rainforests, if you will, the overgrown ancient growth versions of forests. Then you have grasslands and plains, so grasslands, plains, savanna, tundra, you know, all the synonyms that are talked about in the area. Describe the night sky. I would say it's like the night sky for Earth. And that gives you the opportunity to take the existing star charts and, you know, constellations. If we had magic that required constellations, maybe we don't want to use Cassiopeia or the Hydra or the Cygnus or whoever. We would maybe reconnect the dots, la 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 la, you know, that kind of thing. And make our own, you know, runes or constellations that could power whatever magic that might exist, if that was the system of how people got their magic. Describe the night sky during the day. All right, well, we have the sun. And of course, the sun can be a source of magic too, right? So we have the sun and our moon, and I think I mentioned either a dread rock or some kind of other, you know, heavenly body that we know of. You know, I was thinking of an infrared moon, like it's a moon that only gives out like ultraviolet or infrared light that you can't see. Because somebody had brought up in a forum about, you know, how do they protect their drow, right, on the surface of the, you know, when the sun is out. The adage is they're supposed to be weaker in the sun. Drow are. Shh. What? Well, you could get up here. There we go. I know. I'm trying to do some world building here. Yeah, I'm trying to do some world building. So we have sun, which is bright. We'll have either there might be one other or two other things maybe. I'm trying to decide, you know, would we always see a moon? You know, would the moon kind of follow the sun, so it's kind of in lockstep? Maybe there's a infrared sun as well that we can't see, or an ultraviolet sun that we can't see. So there may be more than, you know, one or two heavenly bodies that don't exist here on Earth. You know, obviously those will change things like tides and gravitational issues, where you'll have periods of greater gravity or less gravity potentially. If orbital mechanics allows for that kind of mess up. I mean, we could always, of course, you know, the fact that it's not really Earth, we could fudge it and say that these heavenly bodies don't have enough mass to affect gravity on Earth. So it could be that too. How they solve the three-body problem, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Are there multiple suns and moons? Well, I think we've already said that was a given, so yes, there will have to be. There will have to be. Okay. One sec. All right, that makes it a little easier. All right, we're gonna tap all these in. All right, there we go. And it'll look pretty when I publish it. You know, make it and change it up a little, put a style sheet on it, you know, that kind of thing. Continents and countries. So. There we go. Okay. We'll do continents and countries. Oops. All right, so How are the continents laid out? Well, they're not laid out at random. They are clustered. 3, well, technically 4 continents are clustered tightly together. Three. So we got, well, actually, sorry, 3 continents clustered together. There we go. So, because we have Europe, Asia, Africa, they're pretty much, you know, they're almost completely covered by land. You could go from, you know, Portugal to, you know, Johannesburg, South Africa, or over land, right? With the exception of some canals that have been built, but they were connected at one time. So, so you got Europe, Asia, Africa, and then you have Australia, Antarctica, North and South America. So 3 of them tightly coupled. 2 are connected by an isthmus. 2 are islands into themselves. 2 are islands. I mean, 2 are islands. I mean, Antarctica is land completely surrounded by water, as is Australia. So both of them are islands. Yeah. How are the countries laid out? So this would be like if we don't want to use current country types and styles. I kind of want to do like the city-state kind of thing where you've got, you know, like a New York, and then there's going to be a huge gap, and then you're going to have a Chicago, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, that's what we're already doing now, right? So, I mean, I don't want a Renaissance, like a, you know, a fantasy, like a you know, medieval fantasy New York City. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. I think it's important for us to note that you don't have to go and fill everything out. You can always fill it in later. Maybe, you know, like I said, maybe the way we do magic is going to change how the countries are laid out, or where the seats of power are. You know, if there's if it's a ley line and the ley line comes out in the middle of nowhere, but there's a massive city around it because that's where the city was founded. You know, they're going to go to the resources, right? People are going to build things around resources, whether it be a line, an area where there might be a gold mine. I mean, how many cities in California were founded near gold mines, right? Near areas of good harbor or something like that. So they're going to go to the resources. They're going to go to where things are, and they help them survive, right? There has to be a reason for it, I think, in many cases. I look forward to your letters. You're saying I live in the middle of nowhere and we managed to survive with nothing. You know, if you live like that, hey, you know, more power to you. I just think in this case that's how things are going to go. So to be determined. Actually, I just put TBD. There we go. How much land is temperate, equatorial, and polar? How much? Actually, you know what? I want to ask the question to. Let's ask Copilot. One sec. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I asked a question about why globally scoped cookies are bad in the last bit. So let me see. Okay. How much of Earth is temperate, equatorial, and polar? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so 5%. Wait. That doesn't add up. Okay, so the rest of Earth's surface falls into other categories: subtropical, mountainous, amazing patchwork. Okay, so let's see, 5, 50, 17. No, wait. 15, 5 is 20, 70. Okay, so so we'll say 5%. No, wait. Let's start with the polar region. 15%. Equatorial. That would be 5%. And then temperate. 50%. And then they said mountains. Mountains would be what, another, let's say subtropical or mountainous. So I would say mountains is about another 20%. Subtropical is whatever's the rest of that. So 70 and 20, so yeah, another 10% there, something like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. We can just look those up. Really, they need that that information. Come here. Come here. What'd you leave for? Well, you can get up here. There you go. I'm the only one. I'm just talking to myself anyway. I know. Nobody else is out there. Nope. It's just you and me. It's just you and me. All right. I am. What? Okay. Well, you can help me answer some questions. All right, climate. What is the climate like? Oh, okay. Well, you know, around this time, I thought they had like a mini ice. What? Or rare? What do you want? You're a booger butt. Mer. Mer. Copy those. There we go. What's the climate like? There we go. All right, well, climate in this case is, you know, you're gonna have, you know, where it's cold, and all right, let's see what's up here. It's really weird that all this stuff started. Okay. Is the climate consistent or changeable? I would say it's changeable if somebody used enough magic there. There might be some weird spots where that is happening. You know, you might have, you know, there might be an ancient dragon in the area that might subtly change things. You know, I'm not saying that it isn't malleable. I'd say it's you know, changeable in some cases. Locally, it would take a lot of power to change it across the entire globe. All right, let's get through these next couple here, okay? Okay. Natural resources. Which natural resources are available in different regions? Yeah, we'll have to look that one up. But, I mean, that shouldn't be hard to find. Plus, we're going to have to add some things, right? So, I do not know what's going on with... So, what natural resources are available in different regions? We'll have to check on that. I mean, we'll just Google stuff up and then we'll have to add some things. You know, if herbalism was something we needed to know and probably would know, you know, we can break the climates down and go, okay, is it here, is it there, that kind of thing. Where does this thrive at in the ecosystem? Same for animals. You're not going to see a snowshoe hare in the desert, kind of thing. So, all right. Which natural resources are scarce? Okay, so it kind of goes both ways. We could actually have legitimate natural resources that are, we know, like silicon. Yeah, what do we need silicon? I don't know. But there's a, you know, you could make up something that doesn't exist on Earth, and of course it's going to be scarce, right? Like mithril, you know, mithril, something like that. So I would say we have to, this is something maybe we'll role play later. We could always, you know, use a big table of minerals and go, okay, what is scarce? And does scarce mean that it's valuable? Is it scarce for another reason? Is it because we overused it or anything like that? So making that decision now, I can't say they're not scarce. So I would say yes. Now I'm just going to say yes, and it'll be TBD. So that way we leave it open. We don't want to say no, because it's like if everything's plentiful, it's like, you know, there's negatives to that too. It's like, well, what happens if something gets too plentiful? You know, if we're not using it, what happens if something bad happens? So, there we go. Doink. Google for tables and info. There we go. All right, so we're gonna do weather, okay? Then I think we're gonna call it good, because I don't want to wear out my welcome here, and it gives us enough time to go back through these things again and have people, you know, make comments on our Reddit, okay? By the way, I want to make you like a, you know, what do they call that? A little clip, okay? There we are. See, oh, look at that! Look at that mama! Look at that mama! Look at her. There's mama. There she is. Yeah. You're internet famous. Yes, you are. I've had my mama kitty for about 15 years now, so she's getting old and mean. Aren't you? Aren't you? No, you're not mean? Okay. Is the weather consistent or should, wait, what? I already did that. Oh no, it says weather and climate. I missed the seasons. Okay, sorry, I missed the seasons. Everybody's like, well, what the hell are you doing? Why'd you skip? All right, my bad. Okay, so pop those. Seasons. There we go. How many seasons are there? You know, that's interesting too. You know, it's, do we want to use spring, summer, winter, fall? Maybe there's, maybe the seasons just change at random, you know, that kind of thing. So, how many seasons are there? I'm gonna have to say yes. TBD. It's not the right answer for how many, but by saying yes, then you know that it at least has one, right? Can't have no seasons, so it has to have at least one, right? That's the default if you want to play it that way. So tat, and then all right, there we go. So how long are the seasons? Yes, TBD, because we have to decide on that once we figure everything else out. There we go. Tat. All right. What seasons are there? See, okay, so that would be yes, TBD. Because, you know, we could have one of the evil rock season, right? Where it stays in the sky and it's a portent of evil and people do things differently. They don't do different things differently because it's cold or hot necessarily. But in this case, it could be a 90-degree day and it'd be the season of the Rock of Dread or something. And then they stay inside and they do nothing, or it could be 20 below and the rock of dread, and it's like, okay, they're doing something else. What is the weather like? I would say it's representative of Earth pre-industrial age, right? Just before coal was introduced. So, I watched Discovery of Witches, right? And one of the characters, Matthew, says he remembers when the Thames would freeze up in the winter so they could ice skate on it. And that was like 1300s. That was like Elizabethan England or something. But they were also having a mini ice age around that time too. So, but thinking along the lines of that, it was like before coal became a huge deal, and they were burning coal, and it ruined the environment over there for a long time. So, all right. There we go. All right. How does the weather affect people's way of life? Well, it is, yeah. I mean, depends on the weather. Depends on what it could be. Maybe the weather is because of the rock of dread. I don't know why I keep thinking of rock of dread, but maybe there's something in the atmosphere that causes a different rain or something like that. So you've got normal rain, and then you would have splotchy rain or something like that. Causes illness rain, or necrotic damage, if you will. So there may be death rain and there may be normal rain, and understanding which is which is most important. So just thinking in that terms, it would be like one you would want to pack an umbrella for, and the other one you would want to stay inside, or hide your plants because it will kill your plants, and that kind of thing. So you'd have to, maybe this is plant harvesting season because the death rain is coming, and we need to be made aware. So they might time their harvests by when death rain is coming. We call it snow, but death rain, maybe it's a legitimate black rain or something, like a acid rain or something. Depends on environmental effects. Some typical of prime Earth will be prime Earth in this case. Typical of prime Earth, but magic, optional, can affect environment. I guess we're making a bold claim there too, because we've basically said, if magic exists, then it will affect the environment. That we're having magic whatsoever. I think we've mentioned it more than once. So we have magic that can affect the environment. It's not just it will affect trees, or it'll affect something. So there's it'll affect life, right, or unlife. So there's that's just a way of thinking about it. All right, so we finished all the way to number 19. So how many we got here? Races, government, economics. Some of these are going to be going real quick, so because I haven't even gotten to governance and economics yet. That would be, and it depends on your scale with those kinds of things. It's going to be like, are we going to be in a duchy, a small town, a fiefdom or something like that, or are we going to be in a big city? There's going to be huge differences in governance and economics there. Are there cities that are kingdoms unto themselves? So we may have kingdoms, we may have normal free towns, like the free towns. We may have different races together. We have to figure out how many races there are, because I do want to have some. Maybe not the typical ones you might see in the delving and demons, esque thing. maybe a lop-eared rabbit or something like that. This will also go to what kind of animals there are, that kind of thing. So yeah, races. So we're gonna hit races next after we go through animals and plants. Education, employment. Yeah. Some of this is gonna be really good. There's a lot of questions though. Some of the art stuff, we'll need tables for. Maybe we'll find some tables online about different art styles, or maybe we'll make some of our own. So that might be something we can do. If you have thoughts on this, if you have your own world building questions potentially, why don't you go check out our Reddit, which you can get to by going here. Yeah, I think I want to do this again next week. Maybe not this time, but I'll try to announce them from now on, either on the Reddit or in our Discord. We have a Discord that I use for other things, but I can invite you to it. But yeah, that was cool. I'm very happy with what's going on right now. I think that's pretty awesome. So until next time, I'm Brian for the Peerless Gamer. Take care. Ding the bell, subscribe, tell your friends. That way we can get more people, and more people mean more ideas, and we can see what we can do about making this a pretty, I don't want to, kind of a open source kind of open contribution world. So yeah, take care of yourselves. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.